Hey guys, it's Yogi Doug Johnson here. Remember that if you enjoy this kind of content, yoga, power yoga, yin yoga, other styles of yoga, as well as yoga nidra, meditation, kirtan, or spiritual music, music to meditate to, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions about anything, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you and namaste. Enjoy the class. Hey guys, so I wanted to share with you a short yin sequence that focuses on the spine. Why the spine? Because in yoga the spine is the most important part of the body. Everything radiates out from there, and if the spine isn't healthy, we aren't healthy. Okay, so this is going to be a short sequence. We're going to do 3-minute holds, but we're going to work the spine completely. So this is a very well-rounded spine sequence. Okay, so to get started, you come onto your mat, and we'll start with one of two choices. One is the butterfly, where the soles of the feet are joined together, and we push our feet out. It's very important because this is a groin stretch, and then this is a stretch for the spine. If you'd like to go a little further, you could straighten the legs. This is called a caterpillar. And then finally, if you prefer, you can come onto your back in what's called the snail pose, which is like this. In snail, your hands can be apart. They can be interlaced. You can hold your back or your legs or your feet. Make sure if you're doing snail that your shoulders are underneath you and the weight of your body is borne by your head and your shoulders and not your neck. Okay, so if you're new, I don't recommend that as your first choice. Okay, I'm going to start the timer, and then I'm going to show you how you might use the props for this particular, some of these variations. So one way to use the props would be 2 blocks, if you have them, underneath your legs, supporting the thighs or legs like so. Some people, when they're doing this pose, the legs are in the air and it feels uncomfortable, so this is one way that you can help to support them. Another way to use the blocks is coming forward to support your forearms like so. Or some people actually place a block under their forehead like this. Okay? Another way to use the block would be to sit on it and actually use that to push you forward a little more aggressively. And that would look like this. Okay, so any of these can be the proper way to use the blocks for this particular sequence. Another prop that we could use here is the bolster. So especially in a caterpillar like this, we could put a bolster here and come forward and down like that. We might even put a blanket under our forehead, so like this. Now I do want to caution, if you are using the bolster especially, this is a yin yoga class, so it's not a restorative yoga class, and you want to be sure that you are feeling the stretch in the right area, which is going to be in the back of the spine. Okay, so just make sure that you feel it there. Your back is stretching and you don't have too much support, otherwise you'll end up losing the stretch. Now I want to address a couple of common mistakes that I see in the yin classes that I teach, and one of them is people doing this. Okay, so the reason we don't do this in yin yoga is that you could hurt your back and your spine without even realizing that you're doing that. So the best approach is just relax those arms. Sometimes I even recommend that students turn their palms up like this. So this is a very receptive position for the palms, and it's also very passive. So if we have our hands down, if we start grabbing our feet, the temptation to pull or to go further can be very great. So we want to try and avoid that if we can. We have just a few more seconds left in this posture, and then we will come out of it and transition to our next pose. So go ahead and come on back onto your back and just relax for a moment. Try and just let the body be still. And feel the sensations in the different parts of your body. Notice any thoughts or feelings that might be present in this moment. And try and just relax with those thoughts and feelings. And then bring the legs in, give them a little squeeze. Just give a little bit of movement to help you balance and release that last posture. And then slide your hands under your hips, extend your legs up, lift your head and neck. This is called the hinge, and it helps to stabilize the hips and spine. Now, if there's any pain in your back, you're going to bend your knees until that pain goes away, okay? Otherwise, keep the legs straight, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, lower the legs toward the ground. And just before they touch, pause, take a deep breath, and exhale, relax onto your back. All right, our next set consists of banana pose. Move your hips over to the right side of your mat. Take your left leg to the left, cross your right ankle over the left. Reach up and grab your right wrist with your left hand, and then move everything over to the left. This is called banana or Bananasana, and we should feel stretch here in our right waist, maybe up into the ribs. Okay, so if you don't feel it there, it means something is wrong. And also if you're in a lot of pain or you think you might be injuring yourself, something is wrong. If that's the case, go ahead and be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know what the problem was, and I will try and guide you in some things that you could try. Otherwise, again, we'll be here for 3 minutes. We're stretching our obliques, which are the muscles in our side. We're also working the spine into what's called lateral flexion. One common mistake in this posture is to roll onto the side, which would look like that. So just make sure that your right hip is near the ground. It doesn't have to be touching the ground. Same with your right shoulder. Your shoulder might come off the ground a little bit. That's perfectly fine. But just make sure that your pelvis and your chest are facing, more or less facing the ceiling. It's the arms, the legs, the head, and the shoulder that we move over to the side. We don't actually roll onto our side. Another thing that can come up in this posture that I want to mention is occasionally people feel tingling in their fingers or a pinching in their shoulders. And if that's the case, you want to find a different position for your arm. So whether it's this right arm, you might bring it down. You want to find a different position, but one where you still feel the stretch in your side. Okay, so it's very important. And there's no one answer that works for everybody. You just have to experiment and find the position that works for you. A little less than a minute left here. All right, so we're gradually going to make our way over to the other side, moving your hips to the left, and then again taking the right leg to the right, crossing the left ankle over without letting the hips come off too much, and then reaching up, grabbing the left wrist with the right hand, and then again just moving everything over for the banana pose or Bananasana. You'll notice that I didn't mention the props in this particular posture, and that's because there isn't really an easy or good use for them. I like to remind students who are practicing yin or who are new to yin to try and avoid overusing the props or using them too much. The props should be used to help keep us mostly safe and to a degree comfortable enough so we can stay in the posture for the full time. However, if we aren't careful, we end up practicing restorative yoga instead of yin yoga. If we use too much support and we no longer feel the stretch, in yin we definitely want to feel stretches in part of the body, different parts of the body. And in this pose, that's going to again be the obliques and the intercostal muscles here. So if we lose the stretch, then we might be very comfortable, but we are no longer benefiting from the effects the posture is supposed to have on our body. I know this might not be obvious to people who are newer to yin, but yin is a form of exercise. It's not a workout for your muscles. You're not going to burn a lot of calories or lose a lot of weight. But it is exercise. It stretches the muscles, it strengthens the connective tissue, and it helps rebalance our nervous system. So it has a physiological effect on us, as well as a mental, emotional, and even spiritual effect. Just under a minute left here. The beautiful thing about yin postures is once we're in the pose and we're happy with how we position ourselves, there really isn't much to do but just to relax and wait till it's time to come out again. Okay, let's unwind from our banana pose and we'll just take a moment to relax in what we call pentacle. So pentacle is a 5-pointed star. You can bring your arms out, legs out. And the idea is to position yourself so that your body feels very supported by the earth. When you feel supported, the body will naturally relax, and that's exactly what we want. All right, good. Let's bring our legs in. We'll give them a little squeeze. And again, just moving a little bit. Yin and yang balance one another. Yin, stillness is a yin quality and movement is a yang quality. So the movement here will help balance the effects of all that stillness. And then again, we will hinge up. Okay. From here, we transition into a tabletop position. And this is called the Marauding Bear. And notice I'm just moving around moving my spine, my hips, my shoulders, and that's exactly what we want to do in Marauding Bear. Also my neck. Just move in a way that I'm trying to stimulate the different parts of my body, again, to balance and to energize them. From there, I can tuck my toes and I come into walking the dog. So in walking the dog, I can roll over my toes, circle my ankles, bend my knees. I don't know if you can hear my joints cracking, but that's a good sign. It's not something we want to worry about. All right, from here we come forward onto our belly and we'll prop ourselves up for Sphinx on the elbows. Okay, so Sphinx is on the elbows. The elbows are generally under the shoulders. If it's too much, you can bring your elbows forward. That will make it lower. So if you, say, have a back injury and this is too much, that's an option for you. By the same token, if this is not enough, you can straighten your arms and go further into it. This is called seal pose. You can also walk your hands back in seal and go even further into the back bend. So you can do a really deep back bend here if that's appropriate. In either pose, the head can be held up, it can be dropped forward, it can be dropped back. The shoulders can be depressed or relaxed. The legs could be together or apart. Some other options to look at are if you are on your elbows, sometimes if the head feels heavy, you could put a block underneath your forehead like that, support the head. Additionally, some people want to go further than they are in the Sphinx, but they don't want to hold their arms straight like that for 3 minutes. And so for those people, propping yourself up on a bolster like this is another option. Once again, Yin Yoga is a form of exercise, and we should feel the effects of the postures as we do them. In this pose, you generally want to feel a stretch along the front of your body, maybe in the abdominal region, or a bit of gentle compression in your back. You might feel both. Additionally, in any yin posture, we want to feel that what we're asking our body to do is within the range of what we feel is safe for our body to do. So once again, if at any point you sense that this is not safe for your body, please come out of the pose immediately and maybe wait for another day to do it. Contact me for some advice and figure out how you can do the pose in a way that does not make you feel unsafe, because you could be hurting yourself and we don't want that. Just a few more seconds here. Okay, please lower down onto your belly. Bring your one hand on top of the other hand. Rest your forehead on the back of the hands. That's called crocodile pose. Again, just take a moment to relax and feel the different sensations. And then when you feel you're ready, press back into child pose. You can either have your arms extend in front of you in child, or you can bring them back alongside your feet and let your shoulders drop. Now, child pose is supposed to be a relaxing posture, but if you find there's pain in your knees, you could put something underneath your buttocks so that you don't have to come back quite so far. If you find putting your head on the ground is difficult, you could, again, use some support like so. So remember, the intention in child pose is to be comfortable. So if it's not, find a way to make it comfortable or choose another pose. Let's get into our last set of postures, which is going to be a spinal twist. To do the spinal twist, we will come onto our back and bring our legs in. And then we'll simply cross the right knee over the left knee as we drop the knees down to the right. Now you have several options for what to do with your legs, arms, and head. So the first thing to look at is the legs. With your legs further down away from you, it tends to bring the influence down into the lower part of the spine, the sacral and the pelvic region. This is not better or worse than bringing it up. It's just different. So you want to see how it feels in your body. Likewise, you can draw the knees closer up toward your chest or belly, which tends to bring the influence higher up the spine, and it also tends to make the twist deeper. Once again, it might sound obvious, but I've actually seen students do this before. In the twist, we need our pelvis and our chest to face in opposite directions. So your chest is facing the ceiling and your pelvis is facing the left wall. Otherwise, you end up doing something like this, which is not a spinal twist and will not bring you much benefit at all. The arms, they could be straight or bent. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. They could also be lower down like a T position or up in what I sometimes call the Y position. The head could be looking to the right, straight up, or over to the left side. You might find that there are certain arm and head positions that give you a nice stretch into your neck and shoulder and even the front of your chest. So feel free to experiment. As always, once you find something that seems to be working for you, generally you want to just stay there and relax. In Yin Yoga, it's the time that we spend in the postures that really make them impactful. Just about 30 seconds left here. Okay, once again, let's come back through a neutral position. Feel the condition of the spine there. Take your time and gradually make your way over to the other side. So on this side, it's going to be left knee over right. And I bring the knees down to the right side. Once again, I play around with the leg and arm and head position to find the optimal position. In a posture like this twist, we shouldn't necessarily feel the spine, but instead feel the muscles that are in the torso and attached to the torso. So the outside of this hip, the waist, abdomen, the back, the front of the chest, the pectoralis, the latissimus dorsi on the back that attaches to the arm. And again, even say the muscles in the neck like the trapezius, we might feel stretching in this pose. All right, so gradually unwinding, coming back onto your back in the pentacle pose once again. And just feeling the sensations, emotions, noticing the thoughts. And then once again, we'll bring our legs in, shake it out. And then if you like, you can relax on your back for the next few minutes. Once again, guys, if you enjoyed this and you got something from it, if you like yoga, Yin Yoga, Power Yoga, Yoga Nidra, meditation instruction, yoga music, music for meditation, kirtan, please subscribe to the channel. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or you want to share something, leave it in the comments below. If you have a wonderful week, namaste, and thank you.